Our number one drama in our life has always been men. Relationships are really complicated, especially when you are a woman in business. I don't trust anyone.
Didn't you just get married?
Yes, I'm not giving up my career for him. Whoever we're with has to be super supportive and understanding of our career.
They have to really get it. Who we're choosing as partners, they have to be extremely secure with who they are in their career, in their masculinity.
And we've been in plenty of relationships where that was not the case. Even in those relationships, we still made sure, no matter how hard the other person would try to bring us down, it didn't matter. We prioritized our work. And we came out in the end of those relationships on top, and the other person didn't.
Thankfully, I don't need to do much of an intro because you ladies have been on social media building Monday Swimwear, building the brand, building yourself for so long and so openly that so many people just know what you're about. But I am so excited to be joined by you. Thank you, Natasha
You're
and
so
Devin.
excited to be here. We landed in Miami straight to your house pretty much.
I know,
We just
this
wanted
is-
to come and hang out with you.
Thank you.
Official welcome to Miami for a huge week.
Huge week. Well, it's swim week here,
Yes.
which is for you guys is like, it's
Big.
I don't know, the swimwear like industry.
Yeah.
It's considered to be.
It's definitely the biggest fashion week of the swim industry, so it's super exciting for us. And we've been coming, you know, I think we first came maybe 13 years ago or something like that. And it's really exciting because the swim industry is such a fun one. It's not as cutthroat or serious as fashion, so it's actually really fun. We see like other designers of other brands, and in the past we've even sat at each other's shows, and it's pretty like, it's a pretty positive industry to be in, actually.
The best
so it's
fashion
fun.
week to go to. Everyone's like, how is Swim Week? I'm like, it's a bunch of amazing, gorgeous women in bikinis. It's like a female-ran industry, so we're all here celebrating each other.
Having
And
so
I
much
feel
fun.
like it's because, you know, you're basically, you know, the runway, you're naked, you're walking. It's a lot of body positivity. Everyone's hyping each other
Yes.
up. I've never met anyone that, and I go to fashion weeks. Everyone's always complaining about fashion
Oh,
weeks.
yeah.
I've never heard anyone complain about Swim Week.
Exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
We're all so happy and
Everyone
it's
is
warm and
always-
it's gorgeous.
No,
Everyone,
but also I don't think anyone's here with the street style photographers or trying to be something they're not, or the pressure isn't on as much with Fashion Week, you know, as it is with Fashion Week, because you're not, trying to find all these looks and, you know, the street style
so
and
stressful.
getting into the show. And I just feel like there's a lot of my friends that go to the Fashion Weeks definitely will be like, and even when we used to go, we stopped going quite a long time ago because we were like, the vibe is just off, you know. It's kind of a little bit
It's too much to keep
people
up
are
with.
taking
It
themselves too
is.
seriously. It's very competitive. It's actually like, we love watching the shows, and once you're at the show, it's absolutely amazing. But everything else
But that
around it is
also
quite.
becomes like 5 minutes out
Yeah.
of your whole day.
Yeah.
By the time you're done with it, you're like, did I even see
Yeah.
anything? What did I do?
But Swim Week is not that, and we're in Miami, you know, so obviously that's just fun as it is.
yeah.
It's giving like come as you are. That's
Yeah.
for me,
Exactly.
swim week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We can't wait
very-
for you to see the show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited. This will be my first swim week
Oh
that
my
I've ever
God.
attended.
We're
What?
so honored.
Yeah,
way.
and I'm only going to your show.
I think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. We're
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Okay, so you've built Monday Swimwear brand while also being very close friends, which is kind of insane.
Insane.
Whenever I see your interactions and just like learning about the brand and your journey, I'm always curious, like how did your friendship evolve with the years while building a brand in this, you know, like entrepreneurship is a
Yeah.
hard game.
I think a lot of people are fascinated by our dynamic and our relationship, and I totally get why, because it is hard to work with your best friend and to build this empire that we've made with a friend, because there can be a lot of like competition, especially within women's friendships. But I think Tasha and I have a really beautiful, unique friendship that we really trust each other. So throughout the progression of our career, we've always just had our best interests at heart, the both of us. So it's easy for us to kind of grow organically together because we're always looking out for each other along the way. And Tasha and I both have very different skill sets, so it's kind of like we're the yin and yang, and we complement each other in our business in that way.
And I think our friendship's grown stronger and stronger since we met. Like, it was honestly like an instant soulmate best friend connection, because we actually met online. We met on Facebook.
I slid
Wait, I
in-
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
so
slid
our
in
whole
her
life is
Facebook
social
DMs.
media.
No,
like even
stop,
our
you
friendship,
did?
we
Yeah,
met on
I did.
Facebook.
Based on what? You just saw her online and you're like,
So
this is my...
she lived in Hawaii, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
And
I moved to Maui.
she moved to Maui a couple years after I had moved to LA. And I saw her hanging out with all my friends, and I know every single hot girl that lives on the island, every single one. I was like, who is this bombshell, haughty Australian that's like hanging out with all my friends? So I was like, I'm just
You were
gonna add
already
her.
in LA.
I was already in LA.
Yeah,
Okay,
she had
okay.
left Maui, and then she messaged me, and honestly, we like instantly like we're just talking, and we just have the same vibe. Like, we're the same girl, we're the
started
same
video
woman,
chatting.
you know. Yeah, we were video chatting, and then I said to her, "Oh, I'm actually coming to California. Can I stay with you?" And I remember it could have just been a catfish because it was very much the time of the catfish, you know. And it
so
could have been
many
anyone.
things could have
She
gone
could have been a
wrong.
murderer. And then I just will never forget, one of my fondest memories is me showing up, and she was at the top of her balcony. It was honestly kind of like a Pretty Woman moment. Where she was like waving off the balcony,
Yeah,
and
she was walking
with
up
her
the driveway.
arms, and I was just like, oh my god! And then from then on, it was just like we're best friends.
She didn't
and-
leave. Then she slept in my bed for 4 months, and then we were like, well, should we get our own place together?
Yeah, and so from then it was just like the business started pretty soon after I moved to LA and we moved in together. And it was just one of those things where I think, again, we're so lucky. We're in such a fun industry.
Yeah.
We both grew up. I think a lot of people that grow up around the beach are very naturally a little bit more laid back, a little bit more positive in a lot of ways. I think that's just a natural like thing that happens growing up on a beach. And Devin grew up in Maui. I grew up in Sydney. I lived here in Miami for 3 years too when I was 9 years old. Like, we've just always been around this beach lifestyle. And that was something we really actually wanted to share with people, is that the beach shouldn't be like a scary thing to go and wear swim. You know, it should be this positive, fun, relaxing break from life, break from work, something that makes you feel happy. And that's kind of like where our friendship started, the beach, you know, like us just feeling like happy and positive together and loving one another. And like every day we're each other's sounding board, we're each other's best friend, we're each other's business partner, like we're all everything to each other. And we've always just said, as long as we have each other, we'll be okay. So
Well, but that's the beauty of female friendships, and I talk about it a lot. But I do think the reason why so many people are fascinated by your bond is that it happens early on in your 20s. And it's one thing when you are in your 30s, you already had like a decade of your 20s to play around, understand what your strengths are, who is someone that complements you, understanding what toxic relationships are. Like, that's what happens in the 20s. So to find somebody like you find each other in your 20s and then grow together and also build a business together, that's the uncommon thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, if you realize like how big it is.
we
No, it's
do,
very
and that's
special.
another reason that we like are so grateful every single day for it. Like, we know how special it is to have one another. And actually what has been amazing is like, yeah, a lot of people grow apart or become different or go through different stages in life, but we've always been very aligned in our life, and we've been through those toxic relationships, but together, you know, and like, that's why at the end of the day, like, life is hard.
Yeah.
Our life looks happy-go-lucky, but we also have another saying, we're like, of course this happens to us, because no one really knows like the things that we go through,
lot.
you know, but like
Yeah.
the reason that we're never like letting it get us down is because we have each other seriously. Like, our husbands, or whoever your husband ends up being, like, there's huge parts of our lives as well, but like, we really have always just been like, as long as we have each other, like, whatever happens, because it's true, like, relationships come and go, and but female friendships are something you can have for life, you know, and you hope for that from a marriage. But I think that focusing on your female friendships is really, really important, and I don't think that women do it enough. And I think that whether it's one person or a group of women, like, you need to like find your people, and sometimes that happens later in life. We're so lucky that it happened, you know, younger for us. But you know, a lot of people have high school friends. You know, we still met when we were like, you know, 21.
But also, our families don't live where we are. So we are
that's a
each
good
other's
point.
families, you know? So, you know, you can go visit your mom and get some advice from her, your dad, and have the people that ground you. And especially in a place like LA, where we have an incredible, you know, community there and friends there, but it can be a place that, you know, you can lose yourself. So to have somebody that is your, you know, grounding relationship.
So what was really nice for us in creating a business together is we were like, we want to have the vibe that we have in our friendship, but with our entire team, with every influencer we work with every person that attends a runway show, like we want them to feel that energy and we want them to leave feeling uplifted and happy and energized and all the things that we give
Inspired.
to each other. We're literally just trying to spread that as much as we can. It's not always easy to like make that the priority, but like I think people are picking up on that, which is great.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's part of what makes Monday Swimwear a standalone brand. I know that you've built your personal brands that helped obviously bring Monday to life.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see how now it speaks for itself.
It's
like
its
it
own.
doesn't need you to
Yeah.
in order to continue fueling it. You're obviously bringing the soul in,
Yep.
but it already exists there. So
Yeah.
that's a huge compliment for you
Thank
too.
you.
But I want to know about tools because I want to kind of wrap up the female friendships. Tools that you've used, because I'm sure that throughout the journey you've had disagreements, maybe you figuring it out, okay, you know what, I want to lead this and your strength is this. Like, what tools or techniques do you use in order to really stay on the same page?
Well, we've actually been very lucky to not really have disagreements.
know. You stop it already.
It's so
I know.
funny when people ask us, we're like, we don't fight. It's crazy.
No,
don't.
not fighting, but
Or
I'm
not
sure
even
that
fighting.
We
that
don't
ego
argue.
shows up.
There's
Or
not even
maybe she's making a
disagreements.
decisions that you are not necessarily behind.
Never. Like
no.
but
No, I
what I'll
swear.
say is we know that exists, and we work with clients, we work with other business partners, we've worked through so many different scenarios in business. So I wouldn't use us as the example because
Okay.
we are not the example.
But you know what we do
we do have a lot of like, techniques, and it is very natural to have conflict or to have difference of opinions. And sometimes that's not a bad thing because it pushes you and, it makes you question your decisions. And it's important to have those things. And we have that in other ways in our life. It's just not really with each other. Normally with each other, we're like, just always on the same page. I don't know why. We're just soulmates or something. But yeah, I think in business, it's really important to understand that that's a very natural part of business. And I will say, I think one of the reasons it doesn't exist for us is because we have always been so upfront and honest at all times. I
Yes.
think the number one mistake that people make is they're so scared of confrontation and they're so scared of like taking on board feedback, or not even feedback, but just having discussions. Whereas I think when we talk about things, it's never like personal. It comes back to that trust thing where we trust each other so
Yeah.
much that we know if we're talking about something, it's not even like feedback. It's not even a conflict. It's not even anything except us just soundboarding things to one another. What do you think of this? And it's just always felt very natural for us to have those conversations. And I think that in business, especially, and I think this is probably one of my strong points and that's helped even our relationship, is like, I'm always so upfront with everything. With any person that I work with anyone on my team, you will never not know what I'm thinking. And that sometimes could come across as intimidating, or it could come across as, I don't know how people necessarily
No, it's true.
feel about
Sometimes,
it.
people are like, oh, Tosh sent this text that's like a little bit blunt. I'm like, she didn't mean it. People literally send me her text to translate because that's how much we know we are the same person. We
But the
finish each
truth
other's
is
sentences.
that like when things become an issue is when you are not upfront or direct, or you're not expressing what you need to express, and then things basically start to like fester and grow and become bigger problems, and then like things
But also,
go
there's
unaddressed.
no time for that because we're so involved in every part of each other's lives. We talk every single day. I have coffee on FaceTime with her and her husband every morning.
Yeah.
Literally.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's
So-
great.
Women do operate, even in the business world, there's a lot of emotion
Yeah.
involved, right? And
Yeah.
it does take time to really develop that ability to just clarity without emotion attached to it. And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm sure that most of your employees are also women.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
All of
So
them.
how do you even teach that type of communication? Like you said it yourself, sometimes people will send Tasha's messages, be like, hey, can
Yeah.
you let me know if this means,
Yeah.
Is it a high note or a low note?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like we need to learn to be okay with, there's different types of communication for every kind of
Yeah.
environment, right?
Yeah.
So how do you even, do you talk about it?
Team management, because it is the biggest thing when you start a brand that people underestimate. That is going to be your biggest issue in your
Hurdle.
whole life
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
managing your team. And you have to understand that like the vibe that you set, it's coming from you. Firstly, you need to understand, like you just said, everyone has different communication styles. It's not about everyone flexing and bending to who you are and what you want. And as much as we say that I send these direct messages, I also am constantly joking with my team. We have personal relationships with everyone in our team to some
She's
degree.
like, I'm not a bitch, I promise.
Even if I was, that's okay too. You know,
That's
like
also like in our
Own it.
friendship.
you know, but it's just we know they're not robots, they're not AI. People make mistakes. We give them a lot of allowances in terms of their work-life balance, and you know, if you make a mistake once, we would never be mad about it, like as long as you learn from the mistake. We also are entrepreneurs and we live a certain life with certain flexibilities that we also try to allow certain flexibilities to our team as well, and we just want the best for everyone the same way that we do for each other. So
And it's also, this is our first time doing this, you know, so
Yeah.
we're still learning. Our team is at a place where it's just grown to this place that we are obviously so proud of, but we have new people coming in all the time and we're like, whoa, this is a lot, you know? So we're still learning as we go as well.
I always say that an entrepreneur's downfall is the team management.
Yeah.
Managing people is the most difficult thing in business. I had to be honest with myself about it, and we had to hire a CEO for our
Yeah.
company because
Yeah,
I'm like,
and that's great
I'm
too.
not
Totally.
a people's person.
Yeah.
Like, and usually the people
Yes,
that
you are. Look at you.
right? Like I have a podcast and like on social media, but with a lot of people, I can't. It's
Yeah.
the way I operate. I'm very direct and abrupt.
Yeah.
And, you know, I also come from a different culture where
Yeah.
for me, it's like, that's how we communicate.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So,
But even the fact that you were able to recognize that is
Yeah.
a great thing. You know,
Well,
a lot of
otherwise I
people
would
will
get
not
sick.
let that go. And that's the thing again, like you have to be able to just make decisions and do things that are not, it's not offensive to you. You just know that about yourself. So just make the call, make the decision, make the move. You know what I mean? And that's what business is. It's just making moves without having to think about it or be upset about it or take it personally. Like you just do what you intuitively think is right,
Yeah.
and you always just try to do your best, and people will know that, you know, and maybe you're not that person, but people will appreciate that you brought someone in that will be good at that, you know. So I think that the intuition of a woman is actually really amazing, and if
that's
we
the superpower
It's
for
the
women in
strongest
business.
thing we have.
it is, it really is, and you have to really trust that and listen to it, but also not be procrastinating and waiting and if you know something's not right, just I think for me, everything is about doing things as quick as humanly
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
And that's why we've kind of been able to get to where we are because both of us work extremely fast.
Where did you find yourself in terms of leadership? Because on my end, when I started, I was purely creative. Then I was like, I need to be a boss babe. And I
Yeah.
got into like every aspect of the business
Yeah.
while also having, you know, little kids.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
realized that I'm like, wait, I'm sabotaging myself because I'm actually not able to do the thing that I'm very talented at, which is the creative aspect because
Yeah.
I'm trying to do all the things.
Yeah.
And if I put all my attention into running the business,
Yeah.
I can excel,
Yeah.
but then I'm losing this. And
Yeah.
I'm losing the aspect of, you know, being at home and a mom because it's a different kind of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to step back and be okay to let someone else run it.
Oh, absolutely.
So where
Yeah.
do you land?
Yeah, so I think that with my relationship with Tosh, I love it so much because I let her steer the ship. And I'm like, I trust you blindly, and look where we've gotten,
Yeah.
you know? And she feels the same way about me. And I think that I function the best in our company when I have my hands in multiple different things, where I can feel balanced within my role in the company. So I can balance my creative with the social team. I head up our social department, so that's really where I thrive in the company, and I love doing that, and I love my team that works under me. And I think that obviously, like, being a face of the brand and being part of the creative and the marketing calendar and everything that we're implementing and really just making these things come to life is where I thrive and what I love. And then
And just kind of being my right-hand woman too, because Devin really knows me better than anyone. So what's been so empowering for me as a woman is having Devin sit there and say, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust your
Like
intuition.
even that validation
Yeah.
of like, go. green
Really.
light. To your point, I mean, the reason why you know, the success of Monday is because you guys moved fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And moving fast is to have clarity, but also
Yeah.
make decisions
Yeah.
and take action.
Yeah.
And that is where you come into play to be like, you're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Literally.
Move on.
If we're
Let's
just
go.
really bringing it
go.
down to the basics, it's just having like a cheerleader, but we're each other's cheerleaders, and
Yeah.
we're so happy for one another and excited for one another, and that's always coming through in everything that we do, and we appreciate every single little moment together and all of those things. So our roles are so different to one another, but at the same time they support one another and are so intertwined in so many ways. So even if Devin didn't do anything but be my cheerleader and be a face of the brand, she wouldn't
That's
even,
more
like,
than enough.
it's like the most
100%.
important thing that she could possibly do, you know?
It's a death of an ego. In order to make something
absolutely.
work, the ego
for
has
sure.
to die.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've hit
And
the nail on the head.
especially when it's two females, you know, and at the young age where you guys are still figuring out where you want to be, what you want to do.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, this is such a fun, incredible, beautiful company that we have. I'm working with my best friend. You know, we're killing it.
Right, you're like, why would
I'm
I
like, what's the
sabotage myself?
problem?
Yeah.
I'm not a sensitive person. You know, I'm emotional, but I'm not sensitive. So, yeah, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah.
So early days of Monday, well, not even Monday, because it started with the Bikini a Day,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it was you documenting each other wearing bikinis.
Yes.
Just like in beautiful places. I think you actually were one of the first accounts that I started following.
No
on
way.
Instagram. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, of course.
So you've been following us for like 13 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah. Oh my God.
I love that.
13 years.
Before we started Bikini a Day, Tasha and I had our personal account. And that's where we were posting all of these like professional high-res bikini images. And people were like, okay, you guys just want to post photos of yourselves in bikini. And we were like,
You're like, yeah.
okay, like you want to say something about it? We're going to start our own page. So that's when A Bikini a Day was born.
We literally sat on our couch and said, you know what we should do? We should post a bikini every single day.
Yeah, just
Because
to rub it in
we
our
were like
face.
beach
Official
girls, you know?
account
So
of
like,
just
yeah,
Yeah.
just in bikinis.
I love it.
And who would have thunk? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it really was such a cute idea that we actually took really seriously. Like the next day after we went down to the beach, shot all of our personal bikinis that we owned. I had a production company prior to Bikini a Day. Devin was working with me on that because she also had done a photography course and she was in college at the time.
Yeah.
And so we went down to the beach and shot all our bikinis, started posting, and then I immediately drew up a terms and conditions. It was $100 per post. And it was like, if you want to be featured on our account, we'll shoot your bikini. We would choose which ones and like curate and only feature the suits that we really liked. And it was so fun working with everyone in the industry.
But
It was so fun.
did you see any accounts, like any businesses that were already starting up that kind of made you understand that, hey, could be something?
I feel like at the time it was like Ruminelli.
It was
and-
bloggers. It was like
Right.
the blogger world.
Yeah.
So then that's when we launched abikiniaday.com, which
Yeah.
was the blog that was encompassing everything.
It was very
swimwear.
early days. There was only
Yeah.
a few girls that had kind of started to start blogging.
But no, there was no like Instagram business framework that we were following.
No.
None.
So your terms and conditions for $100 per post,
Yeah.
that was just
It was like, we'll share the bikini, we'll tag you,
Yeah.
we'll link, we'll talk about it.
right.
And we're
But
like-
you saw the power of that media.
I think, you know, we'd be charging like a couple $1,000s to do a campaign for a brand. And we did like Frankie's Bikini's first campaign and Stone Fox Swim and like a bunch of other swim brands that we were shooting their campaigns in the beginning. So this was kind of just like an extension of what we were already doing and working on. And yeah, it just kind of felt natural to do that. And we were really excited about it. And brands instantly, because there was nothing else like it.
Yeah.
It was actually really cool for the swim industry because it kind of became this thing. If you're featured on a Bikini a Day, like,
You're on the map.
yeah, you're on the map, which
I
was
love
really
that.
cool, you know. And we then like created the blog and like the website, and there was fitness and wellness
Beauty.
and beauty and recipes and travel and every location we would go to. We also did like YouTube series where we would go to like different swimwear stores and show all the swimwear in Vegas or San Diego, and there was
my
so
God.
much that we
We've
did.
done
Like
a lot.
it's exhausting when we think about. We did like a Bikini a Day worldwide product collaboration, and the only other person they had done that with at the time was like ASAP Rocky. So that was huge for us.
Wow.
We did like a lot of really cool. We did like every single day of the month. Harper's Bazaar for 1 month did the Bikini of the day on their homepage,
But
which
were
I couldn't even
those
believe they
all
did that.
things that came to you, or were you already like, okay, I see a creative that can happen,
it was a-
reaching out
It was
to the
both.
brand?
Combination.
Yeah,
Both.
we
Yeah.
were
Okay.
definitely never afraid to ask for what we wanted. Like I'd be up till 2 a.m. at night working on the computer.
But we also took the time to invest in the content. We would get, 50 bikinis at once and fly to Fiji to shoot them.
Yeah.
You know, we did
In
it right.
amazing locations.
We did it right. We'd go to Bali. It was crazy.
You did it right. You have something to show for it, that's for sure. What really pushed you to say, okay, now we're going to start manufacturing and doing our own thing?
The fits of the swimwear, particularly on Devin's cup size, which at the time you were a G. No, triple E, double E. And literally we would have to kind of hide her side boob, or like it just wasn't actually comfortable or flattering for her. And the things that we were wearing, we weren't truly that in love with them. It was just kind of the best of a bad bunch, which is sad to say.
You know, beads and fringe all. We were like, we just want the classic, sexy, well-fitting,
like 90s
comfortable,
supermodel
fits that weren't out there.
You did an extensive market research. So even the fact that you didn't come from necessarily fashion, but it feels like you touched every aspect of, you know, the business, from the creatives that you were doing for other people to the production that you had your hand in.
Even to just wearing the swim at the beach.
Right.
And just,
marketing it, wearing it, moving in it.
Literally, like understanding what is good when you're tanning, what's good when you're at a pool, what's good when you're at a beach, what makes you feel comfortable and confident. And I think that's the main thing with Monday. The point of Monday is to make you feel like really comfortable and sexy at the beach, you know? So we know when you're walking around by the pool at a resort, you literally feel like you're on a runway. Yeah. It's like you feel like everyone's looking at you, even though they're probably not. And I hope they're not, because that's not what it's about. But you do feel very exposed.
They do if you're wearing Monday.
Definitely. True. But you feel exposed, and it's definitely like a little bit of a vulnerable thing, you know, being at the beach. So we have the beautiful sarong to match with the suit that makes that whole monochromatic, really elegant, chic look, no matter what age you are, whether you're 18 or, you know, 70. We have women of all ages wearing the brand that just feel really like confident and chic and elegant and beautiful, but still sexy if you want to be sexy. And I think the product, the way it doesn't dig in anywhere, the way that it's all just so flattering on the body, but the fabrics are so beautiful. And people have literally cried when they've tried on Monday, because they've been like, I've never found a bikini in my life that I've actually felt good in. And then all of a sudden we call it the Monday moment, where you try on Monday and you're like, I didn't know that swim could actually feel this good, because normally you try it on and it's giving you a muffin top that you didn't know you had, and it's making your neck hurt, and it's like all these different things. Yeah. But with Monday, those are all the issues and problems that we addressed, so that you're just going to the beach feeling beautiful. You know, I think that you don't want to be putting on all your makeup and getting so dressed up for the beach, but I think with Monday there's a very effortless like elegance and beauty to the look, whereas like when you know, when we first started, it was the denim cutoffs and the fringe bikini and like the little like, what were the hats, those fedoras?
Oh god,
like the look was just not it. And now it's like we've also seen every brand
right now.
Every brand that's like an up and coming brand now is using our business model that we used for Monday as their business model to start a swim brand, and that's great. I mean, the more the merrier. There's always room in every industry for someone, you know, that really is passionate about what they do, but what they have to realize is this is us 11 years later.
Yeah, I think the secret sauce of why it's, you know, worked so well up until this point is that we do have the passion. You know, Tasha's from Sydney, I'm from Hawaii. It's so authentic to who we are, and I think that shines through in the designs. We are beach girls. You want to be at the beach, not even thinking about your swim. You want to focus on the ocean. You want to focus on being with your friends. You don't want to think about that kind of stuff, you know? So yeah.
A lot of people go into it with kind of the wrong intentions, just going, it could be fun to have a swim brand.
The three big questions that I always think about whenever I meet somebody that wants to start a brand. I'm always like, okay, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? Where's the gap in the market?
Yeah.
And you guys did that
Absolutely.
unknowingly from the beginning, or maybe knowingly. But that really is the secret sauce.
But it was such a different time then, and I will say now it's very hard to find a gap in a market, you know.
Well, so, that's what I'm saying. Today, it's overwhelming.
But we would still do the same thing, because what shines through more today than ever is authenticity. So we knew we always wanted to have Monday be something that could last forever. And I think if we were starting the business again right now, that's the exact same thing we would recognize. And we never got greedy. Honestly, in the first year, we were like, we're just lucky whatever we make. We don't even care. Like we were in a very unique position where our influencer career was able to subsidize the business, and us living in our tiny apartment with our $800 rent each a month, you know, like that was all we needed. We were very happy. And as glamorous as our lives are now, we were actually really simple girls that when we go back to Australia and Devin comes down and visits with me, we're in our Havaianas going to the fish and chip shop, like honestly, like with no makeup on, like that's the other side of us, you know, and that girl is still always going to be there. there. But I think that people try to skip that phase and just, it's all about money these days. It's all about money, and that was never our prerogative.
No, we
ever.
didn't take money out for years.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest lesson in general. Even for me, when I talk to creators, they're just starting out. Everyone is so obsessed with virality and being known and blowing up overnight, where I'm like, you guys are missing the most important part of it, where there's so much power to not get noticed right away, because you have time to reiterate, you have time to learn every aspect of your mission, of your message, how you speak about it. Like, that's where that longevity and brand
and
is
find
getting
out
built.
who your customer is, and you might be surprised by who it is, you know, and you have to be really open to taking on people's feedback, especially in the beginning days. Like you've said exactly right. Like sometimes that little soft opening or soft launch of a brand is a good thing, and we did have eyes on our brand immediately. You know, we were in a unique position, but at the same time, that was because we started a different business, a Bikini a Day, and we started different social media accounts, but it's just such a different world now, you know, and I think that is why more than ever, whether you love the idea and you're obsessed with it or not, you still have 20% chance of this brand succeeding past basically 5 years.
Yeah.
So you have to love it so much, and keep your day job, by the way. Everyone quits their job and goes off and wants to have an office and get all these investors, and I talk about all this in my book because I'm like, it's too much, guys. Like, do it on the side, make it a side hustle. If you really love it after a year or two and you're getting somewhere with it, go full force. You know what I mean? Like, just, it all has to be more organic. People need to rein it back in,
slow it
relax. I know that inflation is insane. I know that people are struggling. I know that we all need to make money. You know, I feel that, and I understand why people are not wanting to go to their day job, because they're not making what they want to make, and they're trying to think of all these other ways that they can survive, you know?
Right.
But that is still not the right reason to start a business, because you might lose money in that process.
Yeah, and people are seeing all these TikTok brands that show up overnight and they go viral and they're making tons of money, and everybody thinks that it's that easy. But yeah, definitely the longevity of the brand. Like now when people come up to Tasha and I, the first thing they say to us is, oh my God, I love Monday. I love your brand. Rather than, oh, I've been following you guys, or I love your Instagram, you know, and that's the most meaningful thing to us.
I want to go back to the point you made where you are obsessed about the brand and the business, and you're thinking about it 24/7, and that is the center of your lives. I understand that.
Number one.
Now, where does your private life and relationship fit in, especially when you are a young woman? I'm bringing it back to the 20s because it's such a formative decade. When you're in your 20s and you go all in and you have this big vision for your life, you're becoming and, you know, exercising muscles of leadership and all these things. Like, how did that work in terms of a relationship? I feel like it's quite...
Our number one drama in our life has always been men. We
I feel like you're not
the
alone.
perfect life. If we were to get married, we would not have one problem.
Period.
You know, obviously health, you know, things, family, there's things that come up, of course, in life. But, you know, throughout our lives, the men.
You can't live with them. You can't live without them.
Yes, exactly.
True.
But I'm not saying that to be derogatory towards men. I'm saying it because relationships are really complicated, especially when you are a woman in business or a successful woman for that matter. And it's something that is constantly a balancing act. And
They have to get it.
Well, so tell me, I want to go more into that. Like, what did you learn that you need to do, or you need to require from your partner to do in order to find place for each other?
What we learned is that our career comes first. And I don't say that in the way where then you're not spending, you know, time with your family or not prioritizing your family in your life. But especially with relationships with men, if you let them come in and take over and you put all your trust in them, which a lot of women do, and there's also nothing wrong with that because there's a lot of great guys who are really trustworthy and who are gonna like look after you and all of those things. But for us, we've never trusted anyone. I don't trust anyone. I literally only trust Devin.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm not joking. For
Didn't
me,
you
it's like,
just get married?
yes, and
Okay,
my
how does
husband.
that work?
I'll get to that next.
She trusts you too.
I'll get to that next. He knows exactly how I am.
trust you, but I trust
But
her.
even with him,
Yeah.
I'm not giving up my career for him. No, I'm not. And I trust him in so many ways, but I only trust myself to look after myself at the end of the day. And I know that he'd look after me, and I know all those things, but you never know what's going to happen in life. You never know what's going to happen to him or anyone for that matter. So for me, it's like we have to trust ourselves to look after ourselves. And so that's why I'm so career driven, career oriented, because when I know that I'm doing the right thing by myself, I feel the best in my life in every other part of my life. And when I feel fulfilled in my career and I know that I'm making the money that I need to make to live the life that I want to live and all of those things, and Devin and I are together in that. We really are. And so whoever we're with has to be super supportive and understanding of our career.
They
and
have
we've been
to
in plenty
really
of
get it.
relationships where that was not the case. And that was really difficult. But I'll tell you one thing. Even in those relationships, we still made sure, no matter how hard the other person would try to bring us down or not be supportive of us, it didn't matter. We prioritized our work.
Yeah,
And we came out in the end of those relationships on top, and the other person didn't, you know? So I think that for women, we underestimate how important it is to really, and it's hard once you have children. I don't have kids yet, you know, but especially if there's young women watching this, when you're young is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Once you've had kids,
Because
it's very
this
hard.
approach, I'm just putting it out there, might change. Right now,
Oh,
you are
absolutely. It is going to change for me.
hyper-independent.
It's going to change for me.
Totally.
And I also know I'm a really emotional person, and so is Devin.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in love with motherhood. I don't think we're going to be able to but that's why I've put it off for so long, you know, because I know that I want to
Once
be at
we
a certain
swap.
place. And that's why it's like, sometimes it's a bit hard when I'm speaking to a woman that has kids or they're, you know, it's a bit later in life, but you can still take steps to prioritize you and yourself. And you can still, I feel like you're a very self-aware person, and a lot of women need to get back in touch with them and who they
Absolutely.
are, and not allow the kids and the husband and that whole thing. You do have a choice in many ways, I believe. And, you know, if you're just happy doing that and that's what fulfills you, that's fantastic. But you need to make sure that you always still connect with who you are outside of all those other things at the end of the day and what it is that you want, because there's so many women that I know that put all of that on the back burner and they're not truly happy in their deepest heart, you know, they're not. And so we've put off having kids and doing all that stuff for so long because we're so hyper aware of the fact that we just want to be like independent and know that we've got everything sorted.
When we
at the end
dive
of the
into
day.
something, we'll dive in. And that's another thing with who we're choosing as partners. They have to be extremely secure with who they are in their career, in their masculinity, in, you know, them as
Which is
men.
hard these days.
Yeah.
Very hard,
I'm
especially
lucky
when
because Theo is he's an entrepreneur.
he's great.
He's successful in his own right. He's so supportive of our friendship, of which, you know, we've had partners that aren't even supportive of us as friends. How the
we're
hell would that
traveling
be?
together.
I'm sure they're like, why am I
nonstop.
not getting as much
Exactly,
attention
yeah.
as you're giving,
But
you know?
Theo's like, it's the three of us, you know,
Yeah,
like
it is.
he's really like
But
so
also we're
supportive and
posting
amazing.
bikinis online on
Yeah.
a daily basis. You know, there's all of this stuff, so they really need to get it and understand the vision and understand where we're going.
Yeah.
But I think the beautiful thing about us is we're such lovers that no matter if we're on the other side of the world, if we love you and you're our partner, we're going to give you so much love that you're not going to feel this rift in the relationship because we're traveling.
Yeah.
So you're dating now.
Luckily.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're dating now, and now you're in your 30s, right? And you have this career, you have very clear vision of what your present and future looks like.
Yeah.
You sit down on a date. Are there like, just hear me, you sit down, you're like, this is my 1, 2, 3.
No, I don't do that. I kind of
So how do you let the men in front of you know that this is where we at? Because I think that clarity is very helpful, right? For them to
it
evaluate
is,
if they
but
can.
I do think I'm
this.
a very good judge of character. Firstly, I won't even entertain a date unless I know that they have their shit together.
Right.
And I know that it's going to be somebody that could potentially complement my life via background checks. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
She got a number she calls to make
Yeah,
sure
exactly. I'm
everything
like,
is
hello.
But whether
I
it's
call-
emotionally or like we're always kind of profiling these men and saying, okay, it's not like ideally they'd be making as much money or more as you because otherwise it does seem to be an issue. But if they're
Right.
not, what are all the other things that they're going to be able
Criteria.
to bring in? And what's so beautiful about, you know, when Devin broke up with her ex, it was kind of like, you're at a point now where you really know who you are and what you need in your
Yeah, you
life,
can
and who you
choose.
choose as your life partner is really important.
No, you got
Really
the
important.
biggest
It's the biggest
decision you'll
decision.
ever make in your life.
Yes.
But also I have this new fresh perspective on what I actually want in a partner. And dating has been almost like a social experiment in that each guy that I've dated, I've seen different aspects and different traits in their personality that I do want from my husband or whoever my husband's going to be if he's out there
That honestly, because she
He's
got
out
in a
there.
relationship
Yeah,
from
of
so
course.
young,
Yeah.
she didn't even know, what she wanted.
Yeah,
And
of
now
course.
like being with different men and dating different men, it's like, oh, that's what I did with Theo before I met him too. So that's why I've always said to Devin, like, the great thing about dating is that you have to like put it out there into the universe that, oh, I love that he wore a suit
Guys,
to work.
it's
I
market
love that-
research. You've done
Yeah,
this already.
literally.
Oh my gosh. But
and then I think
also
you're
it's so
putting
fun.
that new energy into the universe of these
Yeah.
things that you didn't even know existed. Oh, I love that he can cook, and I love that he's this way, and I love that he's funny, and I love, all these things that, her ex, if that's the one person that we're basing things off, you're not even putting the energy out for the things that you didn't know you wanted,
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I think we've been throughout our 20s, we worked nonstop. We were traveling every month, going somewhere new. So I was happy to be in a relationship throughout my 20s, just from a work perspective, because I was truly able to focus on the brand, and he didn't hold me back from that, thank God. But yeah, like Tosh said, now that I'm in my 30s dating, I know who I am more than ever. I know what I want. I know what grounds me. I know, what I want to do on my weekends. I know what I want for my family. I see all of these things so clearly now, and that makes dating very easy for me.
Does it make it easy?
It makes
Because
it easy
I
in
feel
the
like
sense that
also-
I can cut somebody if I
Right,
don't think that
right
that-
away.
she's not
Yeah.
going in with the list or asking
Right, because
questions.
that's, I have to
because
say,
we're also
talking-
lovers and we
Yeah.
believe in love. We
Yes.
believe it's not like you're trying to just find someone for the sake of it.
Exactly.
And the conversations we're always having is like, Devin froze her eggs. We're good.
Yeah.
Literally.
Which, by the way, is what
Exactly.
I
Like,
hear
so
a lot
much
about
pressure off.
from men that are out there, and great successful men. They're like, we're going on dates. The 30-something-year-old women, a lot of them are already building their careers, whatever. They know what they want, but it's like they make me feel like I'm just a piece of the puzzle that they're just gonna plug in,
Yeah.
and I either fit or I
And
don't.
I totally get that, because I'm at a place now that I've set my life up perfectly, that I'm ready for a husband to just come on in to what I've built.
Right.
But I'm also a very open-minded, flexible person where I'll do anything for love when I really am in love.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy to flex for somebody as well, because obviously I know that that's how relationships work. But I will say that being single, I've been single for like 2.5 years now since my ex. And it's really nice to have my space.
I'm sure.
It's
but don't
really
get
not-
too comfortable, okay?
I
That's
know.
a slippery
No,
slope.
but it is a slippery slope. And it's so funny. I saw some meme, I think it was Tom Hardy or somebody the other day was saying like,
Oh, in your house with the snacks?
yeah,
The peace?
No, but he was saying once you're single for so long that you get so comfortable and used to it that you don't want anybody else in.
Yeah,
And I'm
100%.
like,
It's true.
I'm like, my house is spotless at all times. I'm so happy. My friends are like my emotional soundboard.
But also, that's the thing is like, you're putting out for all those things that once you find someone you're so in love with them, you won't even like think
You don't
twice
even
before
care.
they come in.
I'm like, okay,
but
what are we
even
doing?
Theo my husband's become like quite a good example for us. Not quite a good, like a really amazing example. He is amazing. He cooks, he loves admin, he cleans, he helps with everything. He's working, he's in the business. He's like supportive of us. Like he is truly so amazing that even just for the two of us, he's been an amazing like example of what a husband should be. And like I honestly, we always joke, of course I'm the one that's ended up like married and like on track to have kids at some point, because I never even cared about
we
that.
always
And
thought it was
Devin
gonna
was
be
the
me
way
first.
more like maternal one that like wanted to get married, and I like got the engagement ring and was like, this is weird. Like I
Now you're gonna be the one, like she's doing the thing, she's leading the way.
Yeah,
and
I know,
you're
but
just
it's
like,
scaring
okay,
me. I'm
good.
like, don't have kids yet. I'm like, wait
yeah,
for
I know
me.
she's like gonna give us permission
Every
when we're
time they
allowed.
talk about getting pregnant, I'm like, what?
I can't move too far beyond, but we are always aligned in so many ways. So, but yeah, it's a really special time where I think Devin is going to find the most amazing person who complements her life. And honestly, this woman here is one of the most amazing women I've ever met in my life and deserves, and every girl feels that way about their best friend. You know what I mean? But when I say that about Devin, I really mean like, come on.
Well,
Like, come on.
I have to say that the man that you'll end up with, they will be very lucky, because
Thank
you
you.
already
Thank
have
you.
such a great understanding of what true partnership is. And like I
Yeah.
told you, like identified with you, the fact that you're not led by ego is
Yeah.
an insane lesson that takes
Thank you.
many years to
Yeah,
learn, you know?
yeah.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
very
That's why
Proud of
we're
you.
gonna have to be selective, because I'm
Yeah.
not
And
just
we've got the
anyone's
time.
coming
And I
in.
will say, freezing my eggs was one of the best things that I've ever done, because I'm 34 and I don't feel this rush to make the wrong guy my husband just because I have this timeline that I want kids. I don't have to date with that in mind. Like, it's always obviously still at the back of my mind, but I'm like, they're on ice. We're good.
Don't you look back and think about how many opportunities and how many dreams were crushed because of women, like chasing, well, not even running against timelines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the clock.
And it's
Yeah.
so much easier when you're younger to just be in a relationship and see where it goes, you know?
Yeah.
But we are very big on believing that someone has our back. I don't know who they are up there or where
Oh,
they
yeah.
are. It's the universe, and it is always putting us in the right direction, teaching us the right lesson. Like, we are very, very lucky in that. Like,
Yeah.
and so whatever's going on with Devin right now, she is exactly where she's meant to be.
Amen.
I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, with the white picket fence and the husband and all the things.
And the
Can't
perfect
even believe
puppy.
it, but that is where I'm at, you know, and we've switched the roles we thought we were going to have, and that's normally the way life works. And
Yeah.
she has lessons she needs to learn. You know, when she was in a relationship for a very long time, I was in multiple different relationships and dating people and doing all these things that they're lessons that Devin hasn't learned yet. And then I have my own things I need to go through, you know, and we're just such big believers that everything is happening exactly. And I think, honestly, like, when I talk to Devin about it, will always just be like, just always try to connect back when you're
Yeah.
having those days where you're like, you know, it can be disheartening. I'm sure you have your days where you're like, wait, what the hell? Like, this, I didn't think I'd
Totally.
be single this long, or
Yeah.
whatever. And you have to just always really, like, meditate and reconnect to this idea that everything is happening exactly how it should be. And we're so lucky in so many ways that there's no way that there's not a plan, you know?
Yes.
And same
Yeah.
with me. And I have all my own personal things that are going on in my life, and things that no one knows about, you know, that I have to always believe. You just have to really believe and connect back to the idea that, like, someone's looking after you. There's everything that is happening to you is because it's supposed to be. And I think when you really truly connect with that
Yeah.
idea, and that's what we've done in business
I
too.
think you and I are very good at our gratitude. Anytime we're doing anything of any interest, we're like, what is going on?
We
We're
can't even
so
believe
lucky.
that our employees work for us. We're like, what?
Still to this day, we're
Even
like,
though
what
we
is
pay
going
them.
on?
It feels like
I
they're
love
coming
it.
in for free and doing, like, charity work or something. Like, I'm always
Yeah.
just like, why do you want to work for me? This
No,
is
it's
so
insane.
weird. Like, we're so grateful for the smallest little things. And we even say, like, we go to some of the most beautiful, glamorous hotels in the world, and the locations that we go to. And sometimes we'll even be there with our team and we're freaking out. And we've been there 10 times before, and we're going, oh my God, I just looked at the beach, and is anyone else looking at this? And it's like we're on, like, mushrooms or something, because
But
we're
that's,
freaking
but that's
out.
crazy that you still have
And no
that.
one else will
Yeah.
be doing that. And we're like, are we just insane? Or, like, is this the craziest place you've ever been? And we're, like, always
No,
still freaking out
genuinely,
about
like,
everything.
Because you become so desensitized,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I honestly, I feel like I have that issue,
Yeah.
that I become desensitized, and sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, how do I
Yeah,
bring
look-
back
yeah,
that, like,
that
early
feeling.
days joys where
Yeah.
all of that felt like magic?
Yeah.
Those are the moments that you remember. You know, Tasha and I were in our new store that we're opening in Beverly Hills in July, which is very exciting. We were there like 3 days ago looking at paint swatches. And as soon as the guy left from the paint, we locked the door. We're running around this store. Like, those are the moments that mean
We're
so much
still
to
like
us.
Tash and Deb, 21 years old, like a bikini a day.
So
Freaking
vibes.
out.
what keeps that energy?
I think our friendship, which
Yeah.
we're really
Going.
lucky for, because I really have to say, like, even in my other businesses that I've had, you know, it is harder. It is. And I'm going to be real about that. We have something very unique where we're always on the same page. We're always on the same page, even in life. Even right now, if we're on different pages, I'm still there going to Mykonos this summer with Devin. My husband's like, you go, girls. Like, we're still always on the same page, you know? And I feel like
also
that
her
friendship
hot girl
keeps that
summer.
alive. But other endeavors that I've done, it's work, and
Yeah.
it takes, you know, work, and there's still a great vibe, but our friendship alone has been, like, very, you know, made that naturally
Yeah.
possible.
Doesn't feel like work.
That's really special.
Yeah.
In order to continue growing this empire that you're building, you also have to take care of yourself. And I
Yeah.
know that you mentioned that you are, you know, leading with a lot of gratitude and faith. I don't know if it's faith, spirituality, but let's talk about things that you guys do to really take care of each other. And I'm talking about external things, right? wellness rituals, like
Yeah.
habits that really keep your
Yeah.
mind and your body strong.
These things are becoming very important to us now. Every day we're learning about something new, some new shampoo we shouldn't be using because it raises our
Like
hormones
everyone.
or our cortisol. We're very big on keeping the cortisol levels down,
Regulating nervous system.
regulating, doing our breathing exercises.
I think that being beach girls too, it's always been a part of our life to come back to nature, to come back to a
Yes.
relaxed state. And I have to say, Devin has always been a really huge inspiration for me. And even my business partner, Jackie, in the Pilates class, we co-founded the Pilates class together. She's been a huge inspiration to me too. But Devin is really good with having boundaries and really good with her, like, self-love routine. And like, I've always been really inspired by, you know, I'll be the one that's being like, should we go do this? And she's like, no, I just need some time to chill. And then I'm like, actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I should be doing that too.
Yeah.
But we have every single day, even on our campaign shoots, the two of us at like 3 p.m. or around that time, do a 15-minute meditation/nap together every single day of our
Together.
lives.
What do you mean meditation nap?
Well,
We go in the bed
sometimes it's
together.
a meditation, and then we
might
fall
do like a
Sometimes
asleep.
it's a nap.
We might do like a leg elevation and like on the bed, and we just lay there for 15 minutes, and most of the time we fall asleep. But we
Yeah.
cannot survive without this nap. And sometimes I'm like, I thought when I met my husband, he thought I was a bit crazy for doing this, and like something was wrong with me because why do I have like not enough energy to make it through the day without this like nap? But then I realized we were doing this when we were 21, so it's nothing to do with like our age.
No, but there's proof. It's called like non-sleep deep rest, and your brain basically just shuts down for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to extend longer
It's so
than
good
20.
for your brain health. It's so good for
Oh
your
my gosh.
hormones, everything, because all day, especially when you're, you know, a businesswoman, a mother, all these things. And
Yeah.
even I just got a puppy, which is my first like taste of being a mother. And oh my God.
No, it's
exhausting.
insane.
I like feel
Yeah.
like
Keeping
I'm
something
completely
alive is-
disconnected
Yeah.
from myself and from like my life, and I'm at all times just dealing with her. And I now totally understand this thing of how hard it is for mothers to connect back with themselves, not even themselves, but just the moment that they're in. Like that feeling of stillness and connection, and like we still have so much of that in our life. But I know once you have children or a puppy or whatever it is, and all these other distractions,
go in
we've kind of got
survival
it down
mode.
with
Yeah.
business. But I think it's really hard with like a family to
Yeah.
just connect and come back from this place that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with everything around you, and bring it back to just connecting with the moment that you're in. But the one thing that consistently saves us, especially when you're just running on this, you know, adrenaline, cortisol, all these things that are so bad for your hormone health all
Yeah.
day long, is at one point, whether you do breath work, whether you literally just go outside with your sunglasses on and sit in a chair and stare for 15 minutes, but you need to bring everything down to nothing just once a day.
Yeah.
Just once a day, and find a way to make that time for yourself.
And also taking time to connect off of Instagram. Like, you know, there's so much of what you guys don't see with Tasha and her relationship with her husband, or me with my closest friends or my family. There's a lot that we try to keep sacred from the whole Instagram online world.
Yeah.
And those moments really recharge you as well.
Is that something that you started doing later on in your career? Because I'm always curious with creators that started earlier on, you know, because it was kind of a landscape where you shared a lot so people can buy into you.
I think that we've always done well at protecting certain people in our life and certain aspects of our life.
And just our private life in general.
Yeah,
honestly,
there's a lot that we don't
share so
share.
much about our friendship and our business and all our travels and everything, but like really, no one really knows what's going on in our
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Which is nice because we don't feel the pressure to constantly be like taking on other people's opinions or feedback or like everyone knowing what's going on in our life. Because even just responding, let's say something goes wrong to you and 100 people message you going, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's like 100 times you have to be like thinking about the same thing over and over, you know?
Yeah.
So I think also in our earlier relationships, or at least for me, like one of my previous relationships, my partner was really involved in coming and shooting with us and all of those things. But it was like, you know, now I would never have Theo shoot anything for me. Only if it was like I was absolutely
Like
desperate.
very
and,
clear separation.
yeah, and then we
between-
make it something that's fun. But like, I really like that he's very separate. He's in
Yeah.
finance. He's a mortgage broker in a completely different world to me, which I actually like because
Yeah.
I think when your partner is too involved, it can be really damaging to your relationship just naturally because, you know, you want to have it that you go home to that person at the end of the day from work and it's just a very different relationship. And when you try to intertwine the two, it's a really hard thing to navigate.
We're also very lucky that we have Monday because we don't feel this constant pressure as influencers to be sharing every single second of our lives.
Yeah.
If we want to take a couple days off, we can, you know?
Yeah.
And that's really
But
great.
I think if you are trying to make influencing your career, you have to take it really seriously. And
Yeah.
I know
It's
a lot of
work.
girls that have come out of college and their parents have said, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. And you need to actually, like, it's a very serious career if you want to, like, actually do it. And I know you're always creating content and have so much going on at all times. You would understand that, like, it's something that you have to, like, run just like any business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And luckily, if you love it and you have a great personality and, you know, you have enough things to talk about, it can be really fun too. But it's also something that, you know, if you don't have a business like Devin and I, and this is something that you're going to put all your eggs in one basket and really go for, you need to, like, really take it seriously and not be, like, you know, half.
Like if
half
we have
doing
some
it.
crisis or a breakup or something and I need a day to just be hysterical, I don't want to have to be on Instagram.
Social media,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, you see a lot. There's like all these recent actually stories that popped up of, you know, founders that are very openly share their journey, obviously, of the brand, and obviously it seeps into kind of their personal lives.
Yeah.
And now they're getting attacked. The brand is getting, it's
it
a
opens
mess.
it opens a lot to criticism from other people. And I love watching people that do that, and I respect people that do that because it's like watching reality shows with all these
And everyone
you know,
has their thing. And we definitely were more open. I think what we were more open with when we were younger is our friendship and, like, the funny things that happen every day and filming ourselves at the airport just looking like absolutely hideous and not caring what we look like. And now we're a little bit more like, we don't really want to be doing that. We kind of still wish that people could be a part of it because there's so many things that happen every day that we're like, if people only knew, like, we'd love for people to be in on this.
We just don't
We
have
just
the
don't have
strength.
the energy and the strength to do it anymore. But we were definitely more open in the early
in
days.
the Snapchat early days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's next for you guys personally, but also for Monday?
We have an incredible summer coming up. So
exciting.
after Miami, we're heading to Europe. We're going to Paris for a week that we have a really beautiful event at. And then we're heading to Greece where we're doing a really big influencer trip and a shoot. And it's just going to keep going and going from there. After that, we have the store opening in Beverly Hills, which
Our
is going to
first
be our first
store.
boutique.
That's your first store.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
very
another thing that,
exciting.
once again, organic growth, we didn't want to push something too early. Everyone's like, I want a store, you know, like, but for us, you know, the dollars made more sense going to online. And now we're finally taking that step because we know how much our customer wants it and how valuable it is for women to be able to try swimming on in person. Although with Monday, I have to say, you can't go wrong anyway. So it's like our return rates are really low anyway because everyone loves what they end up ordering. But it's going to be amazing to incorporate everything we've talked about with the vibe of the brand into a physical space.
Yeah.
Because
We've
we're
also
not
been
just opening
manifesting
it.
this location.
Oh, yeah. It's
for
a very
like a
special
year.
location in Beverly Hills. So
Yeah.
it'll be nice to see everything that we've, like, created with our team and with the brand come to life and be something our customers can experience. Because a lot of people are opening stores and they're coming and going because I think that they're just, you know, opening it, doing the design of it, hanging up some clothes and kind of hoping for the best. We really want to, like, create something really special with this space and make it an experience and something that people go there and again they leave feeling energized and happy and positive and all these things. So we're so excited for that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
And I'm excited for you to see the show. I think
I
when this
am
comes
so
out,
excited.
you would have seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already fueled by your energy, so I feel
Good.
like I'm going
Okay,
to come in
good.
the right, you know, state of mind.
I love that.
Okay, I love wrapping up. I'm an avid reader. Any books that changed your perspective, mindset, help you through tough times?
Through my breakup, I read like 12 books, which is like the most I've read in a year in my entire life. I need to get you the list because
Is it
they were
attached one of them?
it was. But
I feel like everyone read it.
everyone read it. Everyone just needs to read it, but men need to read it more than women because I feel like we already know everything that was in there.
But the one thing I will say is that if you want to read my book,
oh, duh.
I was waiting, bro. I was like,
I'm not
just
trying to
gonna-
plug it, but the only reason
Girl,
I'm mentioning
plug
it
it.
is because I read so many business books, and the reason I don't have one specifically that I want to mention is because for me, all the business books skip too far ahead. When a
Right.
woman's looking at starting a business, they're like, lawyers, accountants, business partners, URLs. What do I do? Social media. So when I wrote my book, I wanted to start it from like when I was 21, what did I need to know? And I also, all my girlfriends that ask me questions, it's not what they're telling you in these, marketing or what I learned at Harvard Business School books,
Yeah.
Like those are all talking about once you have a business that's up and running. But they're not talking about these early days. What should your concerns be? What should your considerations be? And, once you get up and running, all these things about team management and what to consider ahead of time. And before you go
Blind
and mortgage
spots,
your
yeah.
house or invest your life savings, here's all the things you need to think about. So I definitely think that any woman that is considering starting a business should read the book. I really do, because it's going to give you a lot of clarity as to whether that's something you actually want or whether it's just this thing that is like an idea that you think is going to work for you. And there's actually other things that will fulfill you or make you happy or make you successful that aren't necessarily starting a business. So I always say that if I was 21 reading this book, I would be highlighting and
What's the
taking
name of the
notes.
book?
Excessively Obsessed.
There she goes.
Yeah.
It really
I
is
like it.
such
Yeah.
a realistic guideline for women like us.
Yeah.
Starting a
Well,
business.
I love when books are written by those who do and not theorists. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
also a big thing in the market, I feel. So
Yeah.
amazing. Ladies, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having
That
us.
was so
This was really
fun.
fun.
We also
So
admire you a
nice.
lot as well. Everything
Oh
you
my
do,
gosh.
all the
Yeah.
guests that you have on, and you're very intelligent and very driven. And I've always picked that up with you as well. And we,
And also
we feel like
hilarious.
it's very easy to. Yeah, you are.
That's my
We
favorite
love your
compliment, by the way.
And
videos.
it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's we funnily enough online can always kind of, even the girls that come on our influencer trips or to our shows, we can pick up on people's energy and we know when they're our type of girl. So we definitely
We
felt
need to
that
get
way
you
with
on a Monday trip.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm a Monday
Seriously,
girl.
a little break
Thank
from
you.
motherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's never a break for motherhood, but yeah.
True.
Okay, I'll lean into it.
For the
Thank
rest
you
of your
so
life.
much. Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
see you at the show today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't miss my newest episode right here. And if you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, please go and leave a review with your biggest takeaway. I love reading your thoughts. They inspire me. So if you have any suggestions for guests or topics, you can leave them in the comment section. And always remember, you are not alone.